The number one trait of effective leaders, Stephen Covey. From the moment you first grasp the weight of responsibility that comes with leadership, you sense there must be a quality deeper than skill or vision that sets truly effective leaders apart. Imagine standing before a small team in a rented conference room, your heart thrumming with excitement for the new venture you've launched. You speak of goals and strategies, of ambitious revenue targets, of expansion plans. Your ideas excite them, but in that moment you realize excitement alone will not sustain their commitment when challenges arise. Across a quiet cafe, another founder sits hunched over a laptop drafting an investor update. She has built a promising prototype, closed initial sales, and impressed early backers. Yet, in every meeting, she senses a subtle hesitation. Investors lean forward, nod politely, then step back when it comes time to release funds. She wonders why competence and results have not translated into full confidence. In the boardroom of a mature enterprise, the CEO unveils a bold new strategy, entering a competitive market and redefining the brand's identity. Executives exchange glances. They respect her intellect and applaud her track record, but some hold back, questioning whether the plan is too risky. That pause, that doubt, no spreadsheet can overcome it. Trust in this sense is more than a soft virtue. It is a strategic imperative, the very currency that accelerates relationships, decisions, and breakthroughs. When trust runs high, communication is clear and swift. Teams innovate without fear of blame. Customers return again and again. Investors commit without protracted due diligence. Careers flourish. Organizations thrive. Consider Sarah, an engineer-turned-founder who launched a fintech startup. In the early days, her technical prowess dazzled prospects, but her communication style was terse. Progress reports read like technical manuals. When bugs emerged or deadlines slipped, her team braced for reprimand. Morale faltered, talent drifted away. One evening, Sarah read The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. She paused on his definition. Trust is confidence born of two dimensions, the character of the leader and their competence in their field. She realized she had relied almost entirely on competence, neglecting the character dimension, integrity, transparency, care. The next morning she convened her team. Instead of a progress update, she opened by admitting mistakes. The feature rollout had been rushed, the test plan too narrow, and a key customer left feeling unheard. She shared her plan to improve: weekly one-on-one check-ins, a shared risk register, and an open Slack channel for candid feedback. She invited criticism of her own leadership. At first there was stunned silence. Then one by one voices rose, respectful but honest. They praised her technical strengths, then pointed out areas where she seemed distant or dismissive. She listened. She thanked them. She promised action. Within weeks, something remarkable happened. Meetings became arenas of collaboration, not blame. Engineers volunteered ideas for product improvements. The customer success manager proposed a new onboarding flow. Even the marketing intern pitched a user-generated content campaign. Sarah's willingness to show vulnerability and to act on feedback created a well of trust that nourished the team's creativity. Meanwhile, across town, Marcus led his second-generation family business. Sales had stagnated. New competitors eroded market share. His father's name carried weight, but Marcus knew nostalgia would not sustain growth. He needed to galvanize his seasoned leadership team to embrace change. Recalling Covey's principle of trust, Marcus decided to rebuild character credibility by spending time on the front lines. He spent mornings on the shop floor, learning production steps from veteran operators. He asked about their concerns: the broken machine in Bay 3, the irregular delivery schedule from a supplier, the safety protocol that never quite worked. He listened, took notes, and followed up. He also assessed competence credibly. In weekly leadership meetings, he invited each director to present not only their department's performance metrics, but also their personal development goals. He shared his own: mastering digital marketing, honing negotiation skills, and building emotional intelligence. He enrolled in an online course and brought back insights, teaching them to the leadership team. This two-pronged approach sent a powerful message. Marcus was committed to both his own growth and to the welfare of every team member. Trust scores, measured in anonymous employee surveys, increased dramatically. The leadership team began to experiment with new product lines, confident they would have Marcus's full support. Deliveries improved, customer satisfaction climbed, and when Marcus proposed a joint venture with a tech startup, his board approved it swiftly, buoyed by the reservoir of trust he had built. Trust also transforms relationships with customers and investors. In a co-working space, Diana pitched her e-commerce vision to angel investors. She spoke passionately about her proprietary technology, her market research, and her sales projections. One investor leaned back and asked a simple question. "Tell me about a time you failed." Diana froze. She had rehearsed her successes, but failure, real failure, felt like danger zone. Then she remembered Covey's words. Trust grows faster when leaders demonstrate authenticity and humility. She recounted a prior venture that fizzled when she ignored early warning signs. She described how that experience honed her risk management approach in this new business. She was candid about the assumptions she was still testing. The investor smiled. He said, "I'd rather back a founder who knows what might go wrong than one who thinks she's bulletproof." He wrote the check that afternoon. As an entrepreneur, you know that every relationship, every transaction, every strategic pivot rests on a foundation of trust. Without it, alliances fracture, deals stall, and even the best ideas remain locked in PowerPoint decks. With it, possibilities open up like a sunrise over the horizon. Building trust is not an overnight task. Covey identified 13 behaviors that foster trust, grouped into 2 dimensions: character and competence. Character includes integrity, intent, and extending trust. Competence covers capabilities, results, and leading for results. But at the heart of it all lies a single question. Can I count on you? Take integrity. It means aligning actions with values consistently. Imagine promising a client an update by Friday and missing that deadline without a word. Each uncommunicated slip chips away at trust. Now imagine proactively telling them on Wednesday that you need extra time, explaining the reason and outlining a new timeline. You demonstrate respect, responsibility, and reliability. Consider intent. This is about your motives and your agenda. When team members suspect you prioritize personal gain over collective success, trust erodes. Effective leaders reframe intent to show how every decision, every project, every metric serves the shared vision, the welfare of the people, and the customer's true needs. Extending trust, giving people the benefit of the doubt, is equally powerful. Instead of micromanaging, great leaders delegate with clear outcomes and boundaries. They assume positive intent and give space for creativity. In the startup where I work, our CEO granted every new hire a failure budget, permission to experiment and possibly fail up to a modest dollar amount each quarter. The result? Breakthrough innovations and a culture where people felt safe to stretch beyond their comfort zones. On the competence side, leaders must excel in capabilities, develop the skills needed for the role. That might mean honing financial acumen, mastering a new technology, or cultivating public speaking prowess. Yet an effective leader also demonstrates capacity, delivering results consistently. Success breeds trust. When you set clear objectives and meet them, people believe you can do it again. Finally, leading for results means proactively removing obstacles, securing resources and coaching the team to victory. When leaders invest in developing others' competence, trust compounds exponentially. A junior product manager who receives hands-on mentoring feels empowered to tackle bigger challenges and passes along that confidence to her own peers. Trust is not a nice-to-have. It is the operational lubricant that makes organizations agile. In crisis, trust becomes lifeblood. When the unexpected strikes, a sudden market downturn, a PR crisis, a supply chain disruption, teams that trust one another communicate openly, coordinate swiftly, and innovate solutions. Teams built only on authority or hierarchy crumble under pressure. Imagine 2 companies responding to the same crisis. A key software vulnerability exposed customer data. In one company, the CEO downplays the problem, fearing reputational damage. Engineers work in silos, hiding mistakes. Customers receive vague statements, fueling panic. Trust evaporates, revenue plummets. In the other company, the leader immediately addresses the issue on a public channel. She outlines the problem, the steps already taken, and the roadmap to full resolution. Engineers post updates in real time. Customers thank them for honesty. Trust remains intact, loyalty deepens, and recovery accelerates. The lesson is clear. The number one trait of effective leaders is trust. And trust is built through consistent behaviors that blend character and competence. As an entrepreneur, small business owner, or investor, your mission depends on your ability to cultivate trust at every level, within your team, with your customers, and among your stakeholders. Begin by pausing each day to ask yourself, what have I done today to build or maintain trust? Maybe it's a candid conversation with a team member. Maybe it's sharing data that shows both successes and setbacks. Maybe it's investing time in your own growth so you can lead more effectively. Remember that trust is both fragile and renewable. It can be shattered in an instant by a broken promise or a hidden agenda. But it can also be rebuilt, brick by brick, through transparency, accountability, and genuine care. Covey reminds us that trust is the highest form of human motivation. When people trust you, they find the passion to excel, not for a paycheck, but for the shared purpose you offer. In the final analysis, leadership is not about commanding from the front. It is about earning the right to be followed, and that right is granted only to those who embody trust. Let every decision you make, every word you speak, and every action you take reinforce the answer to the question in every mind. Can I count on you? Practice integrity in the little things. Deliver on small promises, so that when the stakes are high, people know you will stand by your word. Cultivate intent by framing every initiative in terms of collective benefit. Extend trust by empowering others to act and watch them rise to the occasion. Hone your competencies relentlessly and deliver results consistently. Lead for results by removing barriers and championing your team's success. Over time, the trust you build becomes a force multiplier. Ideas spread more rapidly. Partnerships form with greater ease. Customers become loyal advocates. Investors step in early and stay the course. And perhaps most importantly, you, for whom the role of leader is both a privilege and a calling, find deeper fulfillment in knowing that you have created something enduring, something that will outlast any one person or any single moment in time. If you embrace trust as your number one trait, you will not only transform your organization, you will transform yourself. You will discover that true leadership is not a position on an org chart, but a way of being. And with each act of integrity, each demonstration of care, each achievement of competence, you will build a legacy of trust that endures far beyond your tenure. Stephen Covey taught us that trust is the vessel through which all great leadership flows. Now it is your turn. Look around at your team, your customers, your partners. Ask yourself how you can earn their trust today and commit to doing so again and again with unwavering consistency. The journey may be challenging, but the destination, a world in which people rally behind your vision, empowered by confidence in your character and your competence, is worth every step. In the end, the number one trait of effective leaders is trust. Build it, and you will lead not only with authority, but with the full hearts of everyone who chooses to follow.